Thank you very much for joining me on this morning on ITV. And I did say that we'll be looking at a very vital topic as we go towards the very election that is coming up February 16, which is the presidential and national assembly elections. And discussing this vital topic as it pertains to INEC and collation of election results manually, I have with me from the immediate left, I have with me the General Overseer of Sword of Liberation Bible Church, Bishop Austin Igbasan. Many thanks for coming, Bishop.
Thank you so much for having me. Good morning, viewers.
And also next I have an erudite and articulate public affairs analyst, also a clergyman, and he is Francis Owaifo. Many thanks for coming, Francis.
Thanks for having me.
We've been following events, and just recently INEC came up with another directive, which is their insistence on ensuring that the collation of results for the 2019 elections will be done manually, and even that of transmission will be done also manually. Given that, do you see this as a positive development, Austin?
It's not a positive development, it's a negative development. That's the way I look at it, because in the first instance, all the budgets that INEC budgeted for and they were approved by the National Assembly, everything electronically were part of those things that were budgeted for. And we were told that Osun or Ekiti, they test run their electronic transmission there, that they use that as a test run of that particular method of collation and transmission of results. So we felt that it is a great development to move ahead. It is a plus to do this electronically, because number one, it will frustrate manipulation. It will frustrate all kinds of influence, the things that happen between the collation, between the voting center and collation center. When this is done electronically, it will give confidence. It will make the electorate to know that with that kind of plan, everybody knew that it will be transparent to some extent. We knew that there is no perfect system anywhere in the world, but with this electronic introduction of collation and transmission of results, it will give a lot of credit and integrity to the election itself. And I felt it is this particular INEC under this government have taken many steps backward, and they have taken us backward. I stand to be corrected, because all the plus that was achieved in the other government, as far as INEC is concerned, with this crop of INEC people now, we have gone more than 7 steps backward.
Okay, but if we are to look at vividly what INEC really brought up, the aspect of collating manually, that was what INEC said earlier, but they can now transmit electronically.
Yeah.
Now, if you're talking about the whole process being done electronically, aren't you considering some shortfalls, like internet setbacks?
Now, definitely, we were told that Ekiti and Osun was used as a test run. If you are coming with a new technology, you test run it. When we are talking of card reader, it was done in the other government with few election, by election. And by and large, we were able to get it to some extent that we were able to use it for the presidential election. So I felt that there is no system on earth that comes once. People push it in, and gradually, when you test run a particular system and there are some faults there, you are able to correct it before you go to main election. We have done so many by-elections, even senatorial election, House of Rep election, maybe through death or one thing or the other. I felt that if INEC is prepared to give us an election with integrity, all those elections that have been conducted for some time now, that they are telling us that they have conducted about 158 elections. If somebody wants to test run a system, and you have almost 158 elections that serially you have conducted before the general election, it's enough to get ourselves prepared for it. And INEC has never been denied of any fund that they demanded for. Yeah, I think National Assembly have to come out of their break to make sure that they got all what they bidded for. So I felt that going at this time backward to say it is not possible to do it, I felt that it is something that even the electorate themselves need to pause about it, because I felt that the intention behind pausing it at this moment is something to be suspected.
Francis Nwifo, let's look at this and the legal aspect. I know you are not the custodian of the law, but according to the report by the leadership of INEC, they are also following the extant laws, the extant electoral laws, because we remember vividly some time back where the president refused giving assent to the Electoral Amendment Bill 2010. And looking at that, don't you see this as a possible way out that, well, they are trying to stick to the laws as provided?
Well, I want to say, INEC, to me, they don't really have any laws that is tie them down from improving themselves, because we are looking at improvements in election processes. Because for us to have a flawless election that is less in litigation, at the end of the day, is for INEC to get every of their processes right. And getting your processes right entails that when the electorate come to the election, to the polling unit, they are assured that the process from where they are voting to where the result is finally going to be announced, something doesn't happen to their vote in the process. To me, INEC has bylaws. They make laws. INEC can make law to better every of its processes and every of its operation. You find out that recently there was an election bylaw clauses that were inserted. They didn't look at the electoral act that wasn't passed. No, because the law also enables INEC to amend laws that governs them to make a better election. So you find out that INEC, to me, I believe that they are supposed to be improving on a daily basis. You have 4 years period to prepare for an election. Election is 4 years. Election didn't just started yesterday, or they don't know where the election will be taking place in 2019. It has been since 2015 when the last election took place. And Mahmoud was appointed immediately, and he knew that there's going to be an election, and just like my brother said, there were test runs of election collation in the center. Because just as I said, my brother, we must improve. Improvement is the order of the day. Countries are improving. You find out that countries are looking for every way to make sure that their election results are acceptable to everybody. And that's what Nigeria should also work at best practices. Because when you have election results coming out and there are litigations every now and then, it shows that there is something wrong in the process. And the process starts from the results. If I'm not satisfied with the results released, and I know that my chances is better than what you are telling me, I will halt the process and go to court. So for INEC for us to have less litigation, INEC would have jettisoned the proposed election, which is supposed to be transmitted electronically and doing this manually. Because manually, when you do this manually in the polling units and everywhere, you are prone to errors, and you are prone for external influence. And when those ones comes in, you find out that your results, people will not take your results serious.
Okay, Bishop Austin Igbasa, you spoke about some prototypes that were used in Osun Ekiti, for instance, looking at what INEC did. So looking at that was being test-run. But have you also taken time to look at the stretch that is going to have? Because by test-running it in such places, the attention of INEC was on that. And we just have a number of few samples, just few samples. But now we're looking at the general election, where it's going to cut across various polling units, wards, cut across states, and including the Federal Capital Territory. Is that not a large capacity that could probably have necessitated this twist?
Now, I feel that if you look at even the INEC, the appointment of the national commissioners that are supposed to reflect the sixth geopolitical zone, you knew it takes the federal government themselves. It took the president and it took the fight of everybody, heaven and earth, before they were appointed. Don't forget that this team have to sit down and also plan for election. And all of us were shouting that time, that why is it taking the president so long a time to appoint from each geopolitical zone people that would be like DIGs for the INEC chairman to sit? I believe that where we find ourselves now, it was a calculated attempt. It was something that is pre-planned. You know, in Nigeria, when government wants to do something, they will slow about it so that when you are pushed to the wall, like the approval of all those things that were put into the electoral law, it was a calculated attempt to return it 3 times, so that by the time it comes again, it will come towards the time I will have enough excuse to say I don't have time to go through it. It's going to cause this, it's going to cause that. Why was the president not able to appoint? It takes almost 1 year and 2 months to appoint people who need to represent each geopolitical zone and sit down with the INEC chairman and plan well. Also, we were told that Ekiti and Osun was used to Testron, and other by-elections that we have in Kogi, we have in Bauchi and other places. I felt that with the coverage of 158 by-election, it's enough for somebody that is prepared to improve on one particular thing, to detect that, oh, these are the errors, these are the hitches we have in this area, and quickly adjust to those things and fix them up. If we have a flaw somewhere, we are able to say, okay, these are the things we noticed in the place we did collection. We have to improve on this, and we have a better. Nigeria is not up to a state in America that will say we cannot do coverage. We make everything difficult in our own. We have a large coverage. How many? A state in America is bigger than the whole of Nigeria. So, and these people do their election, and heaven does not fall. I feel that it was a calculated attempt to come again at the end of the day to give us a little excuse and throw it off.
Well, this is coming up as a result of the recent decision by INEC to collate and transmit election results manually online. Well, that's what is giving us headache. But, well, I will be extending the frontiers of this discussion after this break. Do stay with me.
TMI, every opinion counts.
Well, while that break was on, we had the opportunity to have the presence of a legal practitioner, and he is Williams Chima. Many thanks for coming, Williams.
Thank you, Philip. Thank you.
Well, looking at the topic before us, INEC decision to collate and transmit results manually, not electronically. Looking at that, do you see that as a welcome development?
Well, I think first and foremost is that we agree it is elementary that INEC has the responsibility to organize the elections, and they equally have the responsibility to decide, the methodology that will be applied to ensure free, fair, and credible election. But when INEC begins to somersault, saying one thing today and saying another thing tomorrow, it calls for concern. For now, nobody is questioning their integrity to organize the election. But
for now, nobody is questioning that
integrity.
Okay.
To organize.
Or you are not questioning, because we are having an argument where a lot of persons are thinking that, well, that integrity is being questioned.
Well, the thing is, if at the end of the day, INEC applying the manual, process, which have hitherto created problems, led to manipulations, led to overvoting, led to, disenfranchisement of people, and all the issues around it that created the avenue and opportunity for Nigerians to look forward to, at least vote manually, transmit electronically. So that from what you have garbaged in, people are now taking note. So where will the inflation of votes come from? Okay? Now, if you have prepared the minds of Nigerians to that level, and then you come back to say that you are no longer prepared enough to have that done. It is not as if you are talking of, well, there may be a couple of places, that there will be failure of the electronic system, then we can transmit manually. But if you are going back to the old style that Nigerians had questioned over time, so what makes the difference?
But if we're to look at the refusal of the president to give his assent on the Electoral Act Amendment Bill, don't you see that maybe what the president saw, the exigencies that are needed, not to really give that bill some flesh. Don't you think that's what also the leadership of INEC are saying?
Well, you see, INEC cannot tell Nigerians that the delay in assenting to the amendments of the Electoral Act, you know, is the cause. Because they already have an extant law establishing them, giving them the power, the elasticity, you know, so long as it is to guarantee transparent, free, fair, credible, and acceptable election.
But it's flexible still.
Now,
the extant laws are also flexible.
Yes,
because
that is what I'm saying, because
they have the discretion.
The amendment was only to say that it is mandatory, that it must be.
All right.
Okay? But outside of that, INEC has the powers within the extant law, you know, to say, okay, this is what we want to apply. This is the procedure that we want to apply. Okay? Don't forget that INEC made a budget that was approved and money released. What was the content of, or what were the content of that, you know, budgetary provision?
Okay, so.
Okay, so, yeah, did they include, you know, the cost of equipment to guarantee, you know, the electronic transmission?
So it's like deviating from the plan.
Okay, so.
Deviating from the plan.
Yeah, so these, perhaps there may be other factors, okay, that may have necessitated the turnaround. And why I say the credibility for me, let me not generalize, for me, is not yet in question, is if INEC uses this and they are able to curb and cut off all those complaints that Nigerians have been having over the years, and uses it and gets a transparent, free, fair, credible, and acceptable electoral result, nobody will talk about whether, you know, their integrity or whether, you know, that process was to be used or not. But they fear, and except Nigerians begin to discuss it, because, you know, power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. Okay? If we leave the umpire without raising issues as to what they are doing, they get relaxed and they can fool all of us. But by the time that they know that the consciousness of Nigerians have arisen to the extent that they question every single step you take, everybody will be on check. Because that is the best way to put check on INEC. The oversight, it is the citizens of Nigeria that is supposed to provide the oversight on their activities. Or else, we will be crying when the milk has already been spilled. And nobody in this country wants an election result that will create chaos, that will bring about bloodshed in this country. And that is why all of us are interested in whoever is playing any role. Show it transparently.
Okay.
Show it, you know, explain it that Nigerians understand and agree with you and are on the same page with you. So that at the end of the day, we want an election that will be reputed to be the most transparent, most credible, most acceptable election. So INEC officials should know that they are standing trial.
All right, thank you. Francis Nwaifo, let's look at this more logically. Looking at what INEC leadership under Mahmoud Yakubu has to do, which is very, very tasking. Don't you see the essence for us to at least trust the electoral umpire and give them some elements of doubt, in the sense that as long as we are looking at the possibility of displaying the figures of those who cast their votes, the number displayed on the walls or pasted on the walls in the polling units, and then cross-checking what we have on the figures at the polling units with that is transmitted. Don't you think that will also bring some transparency? Because Mahmoud leadership has been doing that.
Yeah, you see, the truth is that Nigerians have never given this INEC any cause to doubt their credibility. That is the truth. Because they are the umpire. They bring laws, they bring programs, and they bring proposals, and we find out that. But this time around, this election is so dicey. we don't want anybody to make any mistake, because just one mistake in an election erodes everything you have done. It liquidates every successes you have garnered before now. So I found out that for INEC to be able to get it right, even if they are going to do it electronically or they're going to do it manually, they must try as much as, but right now they said they're going to do it manually and we just have 10 days to election. So we found out that they must put their foot down. They should try as much as possible not to be manipulated, because whether we have any politician or anybody that wants to manipulate the process is another ballgame entirely.
Yeah, but the challenge is that the voters would want to see a figure that was seen at the polling unit be different from that was transmitted.
That was the problem we had last time. Because
yes.
The problem is not only the polling unit at all.
Okay.
People vote, and you find out that the poll clerk and all transmit these results to the states or the central. It is from there, the central processing unit, where the final result comes out. That is where we really have problems in this country. That is why
if the figures don't tally.
If they don't tally, and oftentimes they never tally. They never tally. Even at those state elections.
Oftentimes, or sometimes, or rare times.
Well, most times they don't tally, because even at those states, even the election that brought in this present government, we found out that it was also challenged, that results that were announced didn't reflect what we got from the polling unit. Some raised eyebrow that they counted the figures in the field, that this is what they got. But we found out that most of these, all the political parties, they have their agents, and as they are counting, the agents are also taking notes. They have the notes of how many people voted for them, how many didn't vote for them. And what they hear at the end of the day, because these things are done manually, they are subject to manipulation. People, we are humans, and human beings can be influenced, and most of the time by money, because money can change a man's mentality and a man's judgment. That is why in an election, INEC said they are going to do everything possible to cut off funds from displaying money in election day, because somebody can say I'm going to vote for party A, and he goes on election day because he's influenced by money. He can change his mind at any time because of the poverty in the land. So also, the election result can also be manipulated and tampered with. So what I want INEC to do is that if they are really going by these manual processes, they must try as much as possible to do a flawless election. And
thank you, Bishop Austin. He just made mention of a flawless election. And looking at what we have here, we really can't stop it, because we just have a few days to the election, and manual collation and transmission will basically take the order of the day. But what do you see as steps or standards that should be followed in terms of making it transparent enough?
I think if INEC wants to, like my brother said, when you look at Osun election, you can see that someone was arrested, that my boss in the same INEC asked me to pull this result from the wall. Where is that young man today? Who is a staff of INEC, and the big woman that asked her to pull the result from the wall of the primary school is still a big woman in INEC. What happened to the result? Even you can see the person that represents Adeleke, the way the guy was challenging as they were mentioning, he said, that is not the figure, sir. In those state election, like my brother said here, a professor was beaten and was even making, sir, this is not the result. The prof that was returning officer said, well, you will say that in tribunal. And everybody was watching, the whole world. He said, this is not the result. I was beaten. He said, Prof, you will say that at the tribunal. Now, what I'm trying to say is that the intention of INEC, the same INEC that called an election inconclusive, you want us to trust them? I'm different. My own view, this is my view. I don't see credibility if they have given a bill to National Assembly and the money was released for electronic transmission, and today we are talking of going back to manual. What happened to those money? I said it before Barrister came, and the same thing he mentioned. What happened to the money that was allocated and those equipment that were bought and the test running we said we have been doing for those number of months? Why now? Why is it coming at this minute? Look, so many things have been creeping into the processes of INEC that were not part of it. What they said before, they are changing, and nobody is asking questions. Nobody is asking questions. Nobody is challenging. I feel if INEC wants to do manual voting, manual transmission, they must be ready to put a cameraman who will stand with the collation officer while the result of each ward is being given. Party A has 15, party B has 17. The camera will be on that person in the primary school and it will be recorded, so that when everybody gets to collation center, if there's any problem, every party involved will have a proof at the tribunal. So, but to me, if you are going to ask me with all what, because you look, when you're going to, you look at the antecedent of an individual, if you are going to talk of what the person is going to do, we are talking of somebody who is related to the president, be in collation center, they are denying it, that we knew, all of us knew the role the woman played in the tribunal and all the elections that happen in Niger Delta, till they get to Supreme Court. But today, we are talking about it, and INEC did not remove that woman. For sentiment's sake, the woman has not been removed from that collation center. All what
no, but INEC has already said that, well, she won't be a part of the collation.
But they should remove her name.
She's not going to be part of the collation. That should at least calm down the tensions.
You cannot make my son a referee in a match I'm playing as a party. You now make my first son a referee. Who is a fool? But you want my first son to allow me to lose out?
But as long as she doesn't collate,
we saw it in Edo State here. We saw it in Ondo State. I'm telling you of the antecedent of the particular INEC. We saw it in Ondo State. We saw it in Edo State. We saw it in Ekiti State. We saw it in Osun State. We saw it in Kogi State here. So what magic do you want the man to? All what they told us before, they are rewinding backward to talk about. We are not doing it again. What happened to the fund that was released? What happened to the equipment that was bought for electronic transmission? What happened in the last 2 weeks that make what we have been test running for 158 election not to be feasible or not useful now in an election that we needed it so much? If they want us to believe that they are credible, they are going to do the wish of the people, each political party should bring their cameramen to stand at each polling unit, and it must be allowed that while the result is going on, I'm not talking of voting, but when they are announcing party A 11, party F 12, party 13 5, party this one 1, it will be recorded. Each political party will have their clip, that when we are going to tribunal, if eventually we get to collation center where the Ozigabuya used to happen, and discover what happened in Ororene is not what you are announcing in Ring Road, then I'm going to go to the tribunal with the clip of my video. If INEC does not allow us to do that, then they should go back to the electronic system or transmission.
Thank you, Austin. Thank you, Austin. Well, you've articulated your point, but back to you, Chima. Just what Bishop Austin said, and the need to have some standard of transparency. What do you think as the way out?
Well, it cannot be overemphasized. You know, see, the whole thing, honestly, it is individual personalities, you know, standpoints that matters now.
Okay, but you buy the idea of Austin Igbasa?
Of course, because even if we use that, there is nothing that cannot be manipulated at this time. Okay, so but
must we be pessimistic over this?
Now, the point here is this. I said that as at now, I don't doubt the credibility of INEC.
Okay.
Giving them the benefit of the doubt.
Okay.
Austin says he has problems with the credibility of INEC. He said that clearly. So, for me, you see, there is nothing on this earth that cannot be manipulated. It depends on the integrity, personal, individual integrities of those that are involved. If we are talking of INEC, who pays the INEC staff? Is it not the government empowered? Okay? If we talk of use of money, who cannot be bought? It's only the person that has integrity, personal integrity, that cannot be bought. Okay? So it is not by, even if you have soldiers around the person, the soldiers can equally be bought alongside the person. So this is why, for us to get it right, number one, is for us to appeal to the conscience of not just Mahmoud, because Mahmoud is one human being. Okay? And he cannot be everywhere. to the very cleaner in INEC that will be involved, because some cleaners can do and undo.
More powerful than commission.
Okay? So it is to appeal to the conscience of everybody. Look, all of us are crying. That money you collect today, you may not be able to spend it tomorrow.
And there's also needs to appeal to the conscience of the electorate to give INEC benefit of doubt.
Yes.
Like you said,
Yes.
which is important.
Yes, because,
Okay.
because trust,
Yes.
trust comes from within. You cannot trust another person if you don't trust yourself.
Okay, the returning officer and also the coalition officer will be recruited or appointed, recruited from the headquarters. What do you see about that?
Where
Because
is the
that's a new twist.
Where is the headquarters? All the recruitment are coming from, the places that the elections will happen. Is headquarter Abuja? Is everybody, people that will be posted to Benin, are they going to come from Abuja? People that will be posted to Lagos, are they going to come from Abuja?
That is new order.
So now the recruitment, somebody has to be in charge. Okay?
Like coalition officer, returning officer.
But it is people from the different states that will apply.
Irrespective, but the recruitment has to come, the appointment has to come from the headquarters.
It has to come from the headquarters now. That's a new order.
Yes,
a few days ago.
I agree with that.
Okay.
I agree totally with that. It makes it even easier, okay, for Nigerians to know who to hold responsible. On this station, on this seat, I had said it before. There had been INEC chiefs in this country that cannot stand election, councillorship election in their wards because of their performance heading INEC.
Okay.
Okay? The people that they manipulated for didn't change their lives. We are all still in Nigeria. So the point here is this. What we need in this country is individual value orientation. Because if there is no angel that will be imported from heaven, there is no American that will be imported from America to come to Nigeria. Everybody that will play every single role is a Nigerian.
Thank you. So, Francis Wifo,
you don't have any other country
okay,
to call your own or to run to, and I think they ask that, there should be visa embargo, or in fact, it should be travel embargo on all the key political actors, so that if you cause any problem in this country, you'll be the first person to suffer it.
Thank you.
Don't run away.
Key personnel that will be playing a very key role in the election, centrally appointed or recruited from the headquarters of INEC. How do you see that?
Well, to me, I don't really see any problem with that, because
Okay.
I believe individuals matters, individual conviction, what you want to achieve. Now, that's where the politicians comes in. The politician knows that we have no other country than ours, Nigeria. The Ghanaian built Ghana, the Canadian built Canada, the Americans built America. I believe Nigerians will build Nigeria for ourselves. And if we want to cause chaos, because we are so desperate to occupy that position, that they will find out that because of their desperation, they might not have that position to occupy at the end of the day. So I believe that we have to talk to ourselves first. Not like the politicians, those seeking for offices. They are the first point of call in this our conversation, because they are the one that recruits the thugs, the boys that comes to fight, that comes to scatter the ballot boxes, that even they brings the money to influence, to buy votes, and also to manipulate the system. So if they talk to themselves, am I doing the right thing? Am I setting a right precedence for this country to go forward, or I'm retarding the nation backwards? So I believe that we are much as at 58 years of independence as a nation, we must do things right. American election, we saw the candidates were more than what we have in Nigeria. We found out that they comported themselves. It was issue based. They went around campaigning, they debated. At the end of the day, I didn't hear of a gunshot. Nobody was killed. People didn't die. Cast your votes and leave. Then allow the process flow. Don't, if your programs and your plans, people buy into it and they queue into it, You have votes. If they don't want you, they don't want you. You don't need money. They want to break banks, stolen funds to induce voters. And by so doing, you are destroying, distorting the system, and the opponent that has more popularity because he has done his homework, that was supposed to win, you are now used your personal influence because of money to buy the votes, and that's where chaos comes from. And we don't need chaos in this election.
Thank you.
We want Nigeria to be peaceful. We want a country we call ours after February election, after March election, a country that will be prosperous afterwards. A country we will call ours where we will put our head on our chest and say, this is Nigeria.
Thank you, Francis Wifo. Well, before we round off on this, let's take your viewpoint on
what I feel is that INEC is the only organ that we believe can tell us that they can do it. I want to beg them to stand by the truth and do what is truthful. To me, sending somebody from not allowing a state rec to choose returning or collation officer can also allow some foul operation to take place. But I feel that INEC is the soul that we are trusting in to do, and I want them to change from the way they are doing things before. Let them do and convince us that, you see, like my brother said, the reason why people cannot vote and go home is because they don't trust INEC to bring the exact thing. So INEC should convince us that they are not doing the bidding of either the government in power or anybody, but they are going to do the bidding of the people. And I encourage that electorate, vote and remain there. Let them count your vote and stand and defend your vote.
Thank you.
So I feel that is better.
Thank you. It's been this morning on ITV, and I've been having a chat with Francis Wifo and, of course, Williams Chima, and the erudite and articulate Bishop Austin Igbasan. Well, we are following this event, looking at the aspect of the recently spoke about issues in Rivers APC, where the appeal court recently stayed execution on the court ruling barring the APC from fielding candidates in the 2019 general elections. Quickly, Chima, how do you see that? Do you see that as a welcome development for democracy?
Well, you see, anything that will enhance our democratic practices is welcome. The decision of the Court of Appeal to stay the execution of the judgment of the High Court of Rivers State, yes, is a welcome development because it puts everybody back on the ballot. Okay? But that is not the end of the journey, because it is stay of execution.
It's only a pause on it.
Pending.
It can continue.
Okay?
Okay.
And this is pre-election matter. Okay? Which will likely, most likely, throw up further litigation. Okay? So, but for now, don't be...
And that can also reduce the tension.
Yeah,
because Rivers, for instance, has been very agitating when it comes to electoral issues as this. So with that judgment, I think that should also reduce the tension in the state. What do you think?
Yeah, you see, Rivers politics have been a very terrible one, at least from this experience. Rivers used to be one of the most peaceful states in the country. I lived in Port Harcourt for many years. Okay? But I don't know what has come to the sensibilities of an average Rivers State man today, that you want to fight and kill yourself for people that will not remember you, that will not recognize you. How many persons have died, have been killed, as a result of election issues in Rivers State? How many of them have been immortalized by the people that they died for? Nobody. So the issue here is the judgment is not what without detention.
It won't douse detention.
It is not what without detention, because somebody is benefiting from that judgment and somebody is not happy
thank you.
over the same judgment.
Thank you.
So it is Rivers people cautioning themselves. Is it worth dying for?
Okay. In 1 minute, Francis Wifo, what's your assessment on that?
Well,
I believe it has thrown a lot of question again on the credibility of some of our judgments that the court brings forward. Because further that, now it's going to be a very horrible task for INEC, because now APC can feed their candidates, but is INEC prepared?
Is INEC prepared to?
Now we have 10 days to election.
To cover the exigencies at present.
How do we get another ballot papers that now have the logo of this political party and now have the form and everything for election to go on in 10 days time? Now it's going to be a very big task for INEC to be able to get themselves ready in 10 days time for election. And this one brings us back to the politicians I was talking about, the players. They should be able to comport themselves. Election is not a do or die thing. Primaries, just do a primaries as a party, get your candidate is what got us to this whole mess. And to me, the desperation of an average black man for power is killing. I don't think the white man behaves that way. If you can't get it, no, you are better than me, get it. Next time I try. So I believe that should be the mentality.
Okay.
If you know somebody is better than you, let it pray for the person, work with the person, and let the person get his way. And next time you try your way.
Thank you. The appeal court verdict on Rivers episode.
The judgment has taken us backward.
Really?
Yes, it has taken us backward because INEC is not going to just get the same paper. So we are wasting fund again, extra fund, and it's going to put us on a very tight corner to be able to meet up.
But INEC should know that we live in a dynamic society and anything could happen any moment. So as a result of that, INEC should have at least developed a plan B, which I think INEC has been doing.
I think the judgment in itself, if there's a laid down procedure of how people are elected for primary, and there's a flop there. I've not read the judgment of the Court of Appeal, what they stood on, and they felt that the judgment of the lower court in deciding that if there's a factional friction, they are not eligible to feature somebody, because you can't feature two persons. I saw the same judgment of Burunji Kashamu in Ogun State that has to do with another set of faction. One person was given, and they have to go with it. So I feel that this judgment has taken us back again to start running up and down, because like my brother said, one person benefit, the other person does not benefit. So the friction, it has not set to anything. It will spark fire somewhere, because those who lost that, they won't want to fold their hand.
Okay, thank you. Well, it's just a stay on execution, and it means other judgments could be coming after now. Well, many thanks, Francis Uwaifo, for coming, and of course, Bishop Austin Igbasa and Williams Chima. This is where we call it a wrap on the discussion segment.